Hey, I'm Suvi Latva. I'm a Chief Business Advisor at Neogames Finland, and I'm going to give you a quick overview what's going on in Finnish game industry. Every second year we do a Finnish game industry report, and we interview 140 game companies to this report. So we have a really interesting data to share. Currently, we have approximately 200 active game studios in Finland, 3,600 employees, and our total turnover was 2.4 billion euros. It has been pretty busy time at the Finnish gaming industry despite the pandemic. So there has been quite a lot of investments to Finnish game companies and also acquisitions. Maybe you have seen, but there has been a really big amount of acquisitions at Finnish game industry. In total, we estimated that plus 100 million euros has been invested in 2020, and even more. There are even more investments which are not public currently. History of Finnish game industry is quite long. We started already on 2001 on 1090s, and the first game companies are actually more than 25 years old already. Housemarque was just acquired on this summer, and it is one of the oldest Finnish game companies. There has been quite a lot happening in Finnish game industry, and I think it kind of the bigger accelerating happened when Rovio Angry Birds find their success, and also after that there was a Supercell first games. They were starting to be successful, and a lot of investments followed that. As I said, 200 active studios we have currently. During all these years, from 95 to 2018, we have had over 600 active game studios. But of course, if we see the amount now, the amount of studios has been decreasing. But at the same time, the amount of employees has been increasing, and amount of turnover has been increasing. So it's not a bad sign when the amount of studios has been declining. And also, pandemic has been affecting to that some studios has been closed because of they don't really have any active development. So it's not really worth to have a official game studio at that time. And if you want to see the comprehensive list of game companies, you can see it from our web pages, Neogames, about the industry, and there are companies. You can see all the game companies in Finland. About the diversity and developers, as I mentioned, we have 3,600 employees in game industry in Finland, and I think it's interesting for you that we have quite a lot of foreign employees in Finnish game industry. We have 28% of our employees are non-Finnish, and also amount of female employees are increasing. Currently 22% of female employees. A majority of the employees are working in capital companies at capital region. And as we made our study on last fall, we find out that there is, according to interviews we have made, there is 400 to 1,000 new open positions. So I think that one of the biggest hindering for the growth of Finnish game industry is the lack of employees. So there is definitely demand for employees, but at the same time, of course, when we are one of the best game development countries in the world, it means that we of course require quite a high level in the development in the skills. Total turnover has been varying, but for years it has been already quite good. And the last total turnover the number we had is 2.4 billion euros, and there is already 4 studios which are making more than 100 million turnover, and altogether 46 studios with annual turnover more than 1 million. So all these signs give information that we are getting more established. Finnish game industry is getting more established and secure, and it also gives you, if you are a foreign person and considering to come to Finland, there are several options. So if you come for one job, it's always quite a big decision to make. But I can kind of relieve you that there are several other options also. That if for some reason you don't feel the company you're coming for, that there are also another options for you to choose. As many you might know, the Finnish game industry is based on mobile. We are the country of Nokia mobile phones, so it's quite obvious that mobile is our main platform. Although there is quite a solid development in PC and console, and as said, for example, Housemarque, which was just acquired by Sony on this summer, but also like Remedy, Ubisoft Red Lynx, and so on. So there is quite solid development on that area also. And what comes to locations, as I mentioned, most of the Finnish game companies are located in capital region, or more than half. And majority of the game industry turnover is coming from that area. But at the same time, we have quite live game industry hubs in other cities also, like Tampere, Turku, Oulu, and Kajaani, and also like emerging areas in or ecosystems in Jyväskylä, Kotka, and Kuopio. Yes. So I think I was a little bit quicker than I thought, but you can see the actual numbers and all the data from our report, which is released also in digital in web pages in digital format at playfinland.fi. And also, I would, if you are interested to, of course, Oleg Games Factory Talents is absolutely fabulous tool for you to get employed in Finnish game industry. But also, if you want to follow what's going on in Finnish game industry, I would recommend you to join Play Finland Facebook group, and also there are some tips in our web pages in neogames.fi, like how to kind of if you are a student, how to enhance your skills to get a job at the Finnish game industry, or if you are willing to found your own company. And if you ever have any questions, so I'm here to serve you if you need some information regarding the Finnish game industry, or anything that comes to your mind. So sorry me being a little bit faster than I expected, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. No.
Suvi,
Please.
I would like to ask you one thing. How do you see the future of the Finnish games industry?
So sorry me being a little bit faster than I expected, but if you have I can hear my echo. Okay. It's for years we have been quite like a not stagnation, but Finnish game industry has been quite stable, and I think that for years already we have been, and not only Finnish game industry, but the game industry in general, we have been expecting the next disruption, like a digital distribution or touchscreen phones and that kind of things were the big disruption. But I think that we are a little bit tired already to wait the next disruption, because it seemed not to happen. Of course, we have these NFTs and all these kind of new buzzwords. But I think that we are kind of in waiting mode. Let's see which are the new trends, but we are not rushing to immediately take advantage of those, because it seems that there is quite many new trends which are not necessarily always profitable in near future. But of course, the consolidation has been happening quite a lot in Finnish game industry, and that's a trend that it is quite interesting. And it's some people say that Finnish gamers has been sold out, like for the other countries, but I can also see that Finnish developers are quite devoted to the industry and game development. So I can see it as an opportunity also in next years for the new companies. And also I think it's really good for young talent to have a like really stable companies which are more stable, even more stable because of the acquisitions that it gives a lot of opportunities for junior developers also.
We have another question. You mentioned
Mm.
enhanced skills. What about the
Mm.
qualifications? What's important in Finland in terms of education, etc.?
I think that the business is something that you need to understand that you are doing actually commercial products for customers. It's not that you are fulfilling your artistic dreams. Of course, in the best case, it can be like that, but it takes years for you to get in the position where you can be the kind of lead artist, for example, or lead designer. So to understand that you are not only for serving your dreams and needs, but you are actually trying to figure out what are the needs of the customers and what kind of new things you could and interesting products you could offer to them, also to fulfill your kind of motivation and inspiration, but it needs to match the needs of the customers and your inspiration.
Hey, have you done updated version of the Finnish game education schools? It was really good resource when I was looking for it last time.
Mm, Not really. There are the Finnish game education institutes are listed in our web pages, and for the unfortunately, it's only in Finnish that there is a report what comes to the Finnish game education. We did it few years ago, but also there is quite a, because sometimes I see that people are not really reading a long presentation. I think that there is quite good flow chart to see how you can enhance your skills while you're studying game industry, but not. We don't. Unfortunately, we don't have the really updated list of what is the content in each educational institute at the moment.
However, one question from me. We get it all many times. How do you see? Is it important to get a job in the Finnish to have? Sorry, is it important to have an games education to get a job in the Finnish games industry?
No, it's of course it's a good starting point, and it's a good guidance, and but it's not that we it's required to have some sort of justification or a qualification because of the education. And I think that something which is quite obvious also what comes to the education is that it's just not enough to have a like the formal education. You need to do some extra work. Unfortunately, 3 years education programs are not enough to have a enough the comprehensive overview and skills for what is needed at the industry. But I think it's getting harder to get a job at the game industry than it was maybe 10 years ago, because it's much more complicated, the development on these days, and also the business is much more involved. 10 years ago, business was it was with the publisher side, and you didn't, as a developer, you didn't need to worry too much about that. But nowadays, you need to understand that. But I wouldn't say that it's required that you have a degree, but of course, it's good to have a comprehensive overview of the industry and game development.